Hi friends, and welcome to my channel. I will be painting and talking about true crime. Because this video contains discussion of violence and murder, viewer and listener discretion is advised. Extreme caution for children under 13. This story takes place in California. Let's start with Eva. Eva Young was born in 1905. She was married previously and had a young son. She started to write a man in California named Carroll Rablen. Carroll was a wounded war veteran, and his wounds left him deaf. Carroll was previously married, but had divorced only a year after being married. After his divorce, he became lonely, so he began writing to women from a marriage agency, and Eva Young wrote back. Eva enjoyed going to the local dance hall in town. Though Carroll was deaf and did not enjoy the scenery himself, he wanted his wife to be able to enjoy the music, so he would take her to the local dance hall and wait in the car. On the evening of April 29th, 1929, in Tuttletown, California, Carroll took Eva to one of the dances in town. She promised to bring her husband some refreshments during the night. After some time, Eva took a break from dancing to take her husband refreshments as promised. On her way out to Carroll, Eva bumped into another woman on the dance floor and spilled a little bit of coffee on her dress. She apologized to the stranger and continued on her way. Eva handed the tray over to her husband and headed back inside. It is reported that about 45 minutes later, the music stopped and there was a very loud scream heard from outside. Eva ran outside to see what was going on, and when she arrived outside, she saw her husband on the ground writhing in pain. He had opened the door and pulled himself out of the car in an effort to get help. The last thing that Carroll mentioned was that the coffee tasted bitter. When paramedics and police arrived on scene, it was noted that Eva was strangely calm and had very little to say. The only thing that Eva did make sure to mention was that Carroll was suicidal and had been for some time. Now, friends, I handle weird situations like this with comedy, okay? I in no way, shape, or form mean any kind of disrespect to the victims, their families, or the story. It's just how I handle things, okay? So with that noted, right? This poor guy is like, hey, I'm lonely. I'm going to write to a column where women can respond back to me. That's a great idea. Wow, I'm so genius. And Emma's like, you know what? You sound like you have money. My son and I are on the way. We'll be right there. Pause. Hang on, just a second. So originally when they did a autopsy, the coroner ruled the death to be of natural causes. However, Carroll's father didn't believe this. He was like, nah, fam, she's a gold digger. You know, nope, don't buy it. Try again. So he had actually never liked Eva. He strongly believed that she was behind his son's death and had something to do with it. At first, the police were reluctant because the autopsy and everything was normal. So they were like, okay, none of us like our in-laws. It's fine. Just go home. But he was relentless and actually ended up bringing the case to Detective Henrik. Now, Detective Henrik is said to be the Edison of crime detection, especially in this time. So he reviewed the case and started with a search of the Rablen house. And during this search, he found a bottle, mysterious bottle underneath the stairs. And he's like, what is this? Well, the bottle was tested, and it came back to be a bottle of strychnine poisoning. Keep in mind, this was the time that you can walk into any pharmacy and buy poison. I mean, you still really can. You can just walk into a store and say, oh, I have a roach problem, or I have a rat problem. I need poison. Sweet. On your way. But rules were even more laxed then. So when this test came back positive for poison, detective had the remains reanalyzed. They exhumed the body, and everything was retested. Okay. So Henrik re-examined the corpse and found traces of the poison within the stomach, and found traces within the cup of coffee that Carroll had drank from. There were also traces of the strychnine poisoning found in the stomach contents, as well as on the seat in the cracks. When word got out of what was going on and what was found, the woman that Eva bumped into at the dance had said, well, actually, she bumped into me, and luck just so has it that I have not washed my dress yet. You want it? And the detective was like, yeah, obviously. So he took the dress and tested the coffee stain that was left on the dress. That coffee stain tested positive for strychnine poisoning. So that starts, I mean, it started looking sketchy when they found the poison under the stairs, right? Like, what are you doing with poison under your stairs? Then again, I have a 2-year-old, so I wouldn't leave poison anywhere, but that's just me. So this lady points out that it was Eva that had bumped into her. She had confirmed Eva's identity, and so all the detective really needed to do was he needed to find a way to really link Eva to the poisoning. And he started by calling the pharmacy that the bottle was purchased from. Well, Eva thought she was a genius. So smart, right? So smart. And she signed the register Mrs. Joe Williams. So detective brought in a handwriting analyst. There we go. And they took a look, and after about a week, they were able to prove and compare the handwriting samples. So they were able to prove that the handwriting did in fact belong to Eva Rablen. With that, Eva was arrested and charged with murder. When she found out who the detective was, she decided she was just going to go ahead and confess. So she pled guilty. In the pre-trial hearing, it was so chaotic and everybody wanted a glimpse at what was going on that the judge had actually decided to hold the pre-trial proceedings in an outside dance theater. How fitting. Live by the dance hall, get judged by the dance hall. I don't know, guys. So Eva did plead guilty and was sentenced to life in prison without parole on June 10th, 1929. I don't know about you guys, but I had a lot of different emotions during that one. So I originally was, let's just start with the elephant in the room. I'll write in Lonely Hearts column. And then she moves from Texas to California. I don't know, guys.